today we are going to continue with our chapter, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse. Before that, let's see what's the thought for the day. And the thought for the day is, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Yes, rightly understood. Today we are in such a terrible situation due to the pandemic COVID-19. COVID-19 has changed our lives thoroughly. The ways of our living, the ways of dealing with situation, with the things, everything has changed, isn't it? Earlier it was only a thought that we would have online classes. Somewhere in future we used to read in our books, the schools in coming say after about maybe 50, 60, 70 years, how the people would be studying, how you all would be taking your lessons, that would be online. And see, today we never imagined that this may happen with us. It was only our future assumption. But because of the situation, we have tried to find out the means of it, to get rid of it, so that we don't face any losses. Therefore, always remember, how much ever the situations may get worsened, never lose hope, never lose courage. Right? There is always a solution if there is a problem. So, just be tough enough to face the problem and find the solution. With this note, let us start with the chapter and let's see what are Murad and Aram going to do next. So the story that we started yesterday, here in the story there are two cousins, Aram and Murad, and how they are so much fascinated towards the horse. That being being members of the most renowned tribe, renowned for its honesty. How they steal a horse, and then they don't think that this is a stealing just because they're small children. So according to their own thoughts, they are just molding the things. Let's see what they do next. So we are on page number 3 of your snapshot book. Let's continue. My cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of this man, although Murad's father was Zora, who was practical and nothing else. That's how it was in our tribe. A man could be the father of his son's flesh, but that did not mean that he was also the father of his spirit. So as he says, again and again, Aram is repeating that Murad is the craziest member in the family. And whom does he represent? He represents his uncle Khusro. But then he says, as I've already told you in the last video, that Khusro is not biological father of Murad. The biological father of Murad is Zora. And he is a very simple man, a very practical man. So then he says, this is what happens in our tribe. A man may be responsible for the birth of the child, but he is not responsible for the nature or the behavior of the child. That may be totally different. A child may not represent the father. And that's true. We all sometimes, many of us show exact traits of our parents, but sometimes some of the traits are something which belong to some other member of our family. Right? So that same way. The distribution of the various kinds of spirit of our tribe had been from the beginning capricious and vagrant. So he says this distribution has been seen throughout in our tribe. We rode and my cousin Murad sang. For all anybody knew, we were still in the old country where at least according to some of our neighbors we belong. So he says, we went on riding on the horse. My cousin Murad, he went on singing and singing. And we were just riding. But still we were in a place where our tribe could be seen nearby. We did not leave our place and move. We let the horse run as long as it felt like running. So it was on the discretion of the horse. Till the time the horse did not feel tired, Aaron says it went on running and running. At last my cousin Murad said, "Get down. I want to ride alone." "Will you let me ride alone?" I asked. "This is up to the horse," my cousin said. "Get down." So now maybe they have reached a place far away where people could see them. So what happens? Murad says, "Get down." Get down from the horse to Aram. And before getting down, Aaron is laying a condition that, okay, I'll get down now, but will you allow me to take a ride alone after you finish your turn? This happens, no? Like small children, if you have seen them. If take an example, like people, the children are playing cricket and one of the child has got the bat. So what happens? Yes. He will keep on playing till the time he feels like. Even if he is out, he is not going to take that decision. Why? Because he is the owner of that bat. And the other children are scared that because if he goes away, we will not be able to play. So that same thing, if you can relate that situation here to Aram and Murad. And then Murad says, I cannot say that. It's the horse who will be giving you permission. The horse will let me ride, I say. So Aram says, don't worry. Horse will let me ride. You only can say whether you will allow me or no. Then he said, we shall see. He said, don't forget that I have a way with the horse. So then Murad says, we will see if the horse allows you or no. And don't forget, I have a way with the horse. I have a setting with the horse. Well, I said, anyway, you have with the horse. I have also. So I said, okay. Don't show off. If you have a way with the horse, even I have a way with the horse. I also have a setting with him. Don't worry. For the sake of your safety, he said, let us hope so. Get down. So then Murad says, okay, fine. I was only saying this for your safety purpose. Anyways, now you get down. Alright, I said. But remember, you've got to let me try to ride alone. So before getting down, again he's saying, remember, afterwards don't say no. Right? After you finish your turn, you're supposed to let me ride the horse alone. I got down and my cousin Murad kicked his heels into the horse and shouted, Wazir, ran. So what is the name of the horse? Wazir, yes. The horse stood on its hind legs, snorted and burst into a fury of speed that was the loveliest thing I had ever seen. So he was observing each and everything that Murad was doing. He saw how Murad kicked the horse, how the horse behaved before starting to run. My cousin Murad raised the horse across a field of dry grass to an irrigation ditch, crossed the ditch on the horse, and 5 minutes later returned dripping wet. So now he says, my cousin, he was watching. He was watching Murad take a ride on the horse, how he had crossed the fields, how he had crossed the irrigation ditch. And then again coming back after 5 minutes, he was all wet because he has crossed the irrigation ditch. So maybe there he had got wet. The sun was coming up. Now it's my turn to ride, I said. My cousin Murad got off the horse. Ride, he said. So now the sun was coming up. So now it was time for complete daybreak. So Murad came back. He got down from the horse and he told Aaron, okay, now it's your turn. You can take a ride. I leaped to the back of the horse and for a moment knew the the most awful fear imaginable. The horse did not move. So he says, I sat on the horse with lot of enthusiasm, lot of excitement. He sat on the horse, and he says, the moment I sat on the horse, there was an unimaginable fear. Right? I was scared. The horse did not move, but the horse did not move. Kick into his muscles, my cousin Murad said. So as he said, the horse did not move, and then Murad told that just give him a kick and then he will move. What are you waiting for? You've got to take him back before everybody in the world is up and about. So Murad says, come on, be quick. If you want to take a ride, be quick. Why? Because we have to take him back before everybody sees us. Right? I kicked into the muscles of the horse. Once again, I kicked into the muscles of the horse. Once again, it reared and snorted. Then it began to run. I didn't know what to do. Instead of running across the field to the irrigation ditch, the horse ran down the road to the vineyard of Dikran Halabian, where it began to leap over vines. So now he says, whatever the way was instructed by Murad, I did the same, and then the horse started running. But it did not run in the way where Murad had gone, towards the field and towards the irrigation ditch. But it took its own way and it started running towards the vineyard. Right? And there he had spoiled the vines of the person whose name is Dikran Halabian. And he has destroyed the vines there in the field. The horse leaped over 7 vines before I fell. Then it continued running. So he kept on leaping, jumping. He jumped through 7 vines, and then what happened? It continued to run before I fell. So he crossed 7 vines, and then he was about to fall when he covered 7 vineyards, and after that he fell down, but the horse continued to run. My cousin Murad came running down the road. I am not worried about you, he shouted. We have to get that horse. You go this way and I'll go this way. If you come upon him, be kindly, I'll be near. So, as Aram falls down, Murad comes running, but he's not even asking him, are you hurt? Are you alright? Anything of this sort? No. He says, I'm not worried about you. Just get up and let's catch hold of that horse. Right? So you go one way and I'll go other way. If you see him, just call me. I'll be there and we'll catch him up. I continued down the road and my cousin Murad went across the field toward the irrigation ditch. So now they are searching for the horse. It took him half an hour to find the horse and bring him back. So finally Murad was able to get the horse and he brought him, but it took half an hour for them to bring it back. Alright, he said, jump on. The whole world is awake now. What will we do? I said. So now jump on means come back, come and sit on the horse again. Everybody is awake now. It is so difficult to take the horse and to hide him. So even now Aram is scared and he says, now what are we going to do? Well, he said, we'll either take him back or hide him until tomorrow morning. So now Murad is saying, let me think what to do. What we can do, we can either take him and drop him to the place where he belongs, or we can keep him for one more morning. He didn't sound worried, and I knew he had hide him and not take him back, not for a while at any rate. So this Aram, though he is a small child, but he is able to understand Murad very nicely. The way Murad talks, the way Murad behaves, Aram is able to understand and know things. That means, that shows how nicely Aram is able to understand Murad. So then he says, the way he answered, it was very clear that he for one more morning. How long did you steal this horse? I said. So, where will we hide him? I said. I know a place, he said. How long did you steal this horse? I said. So now, if you are doing it for the first time, you will not be so confident for anything. Right? But as Murad was answering Aram got a clear idea that today is not the first day when Murad had come with the horse. He had been riding this horse for a long time. So he asked him a question, when did you steal this horse? It suddenly dawned on me that he had been taking these early morning rides for some time and had come for me this morning only because he knew how much I longed to ride. So he says, suddenly I understood that he had been taking ride of this horse, he had been enjoying for a longer time, and maybe today he thought of taking me also along with him. Why? Because he knew how much I love to take ride on a horse. So, who said anything about stealing a horse? He said. Anyhow, I said, how long ago did you begin riding every morning? So, Murad is not answering and he says, who told you that the horse is stolen? Did anybody speak about it? And he says, no, nobody spoke. But I can understand and I want to know from since how many mornings you have been riding the horse. Not until this morning, he said. Are you telling the truth? I said. Of course not. He said, but if we are found out, that's what you are to say. I don't want both of us to be liars. All you know is that we started riding this morning. So when he is asking again and again to Murad, when did you steal, when did you steal? So he says, till today morning. And he says, I don't believe you. So he says, this is what you are supposed to say if we meet somebody and if somebody asks us. Right? Because if somebody asks, I will be giving this answer. So you should also be speaking the same words. Otherwise, they will think that if we both give the different answers, they will think that we are liars, we are lying. And this should not happen. So if anybody we meet and if they ask us about it, what are we supposed to say? We will be saying that we got this horse today morning and we started riding it. Alright, I said. He walked the horse quietly to the barn of a deserted vineyard, which at one time had been the pride of a farmer named Fitzgibbon. So now he took the horse to a barn. Barn is a place used for agriculture earlier. So now he took the horse there that belonged to a farmer named Fitzgibbon. There were some oats and dry alfalfa in the barn. So since Murad might be keeping this horse in this place only, so Aram saw that the food and all arrangements are there for the horse. We began walking home. It wasn't easy, he said, to get the horse to behave so nicely. At first it wanted to run wild, but as I have told you, I have a way with a horse. I can get it to want to do anything I want it to do. Horses understand me. So now what is Murad doing? Murad is exaggerating the things. He is praising himself. Why? Because Aram wanted to ride the horse alone, and what had happened? Aram had fallen down. So now Murad just wants to show off. And he says, you know how difficult it was to train this horse. Earlier when I got this horse, he was a wild horse. He would not listen to anybody, anything, and do only what it wanted to do. It took time for me to train him, and you know, this all happened because I have a setting with the horses. I can understand them so well, and that's how I have trained this horse. How do you do it? I said. I have an understanding with a horse, he said. Yes, but what sort of an understanding? I said. Now why this is happening? Because Murad is elder than Aram. So he likes to boast. He likes to show off things to Aram. And Aram as a small child, small innocent child, he believes in him and he wants to know, okay, if you know this, let me also know, so that I'll also try this and I'll also have a way with the horse. I'll also have the understanding of the horse. I'll also have a setting with the horse. A simple and honest one, he said. Well, I said, I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with the horse. So, Murad is saying it's a very simple understanding. Simple and honest. Okay? And then poor Aram, he is not able to understand anything. So, what he says, I wish I also had the same understanding as you with the horses. You are still a small boy, he said. When you get to be 13, you will know how to do it. So that's it. Right? He says, you are a small boy. You will not know this only once when you grow, at least to the age of 13. That is, when you come to the teenage, you will also start understanding and you will also be able to understand the things about the horse. I went home and ate a hearty breakfast. That afternoon my uncle Khusro came to our house for a coffee and cigarettes. So after reaching home, he said he had good breakfast, and in the afternoon who had come to their place? Uncle Khusro had come to their place and mother had offered him coffee and cigarette. He sat in the parlour, sipping and smoking and remembering the old country. Parlour is the drawing room, right, where the guest can be seated. So he was sitting there, he was sipping at his coffee, smoking his cigarette and remembering the olden days, the bygone days. He was cherishing the old memories. Then another visitor arrived, a farmer named John Barrow, an Assyrian who, out of loneliness, had learned to speak Armenian. So now there was another guest in the house who was John Barrow, a farmer. He did not belong to their tribe. He belonged to some other tribe, Assyrian tribe. But because he was lonely, he was alone and he was staying in that area with that tribe. So what has he done? He has learned the Armenian language. My mother brought the lonely visitor coffee and tobacco, and he rolled a cigarette and sipped and smoked. And then at last, sighing sadly, he said, my white horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. I cannot understand it. So now, what happens? The horse belongs to John Barrow. Right? He comes there to the house, and then his uncle Khusro is there, mother is there. So maybe he is sharing with them that my horse who was lost last month, and till now I am not able to get him. So it is this when Aram comes to know that since how long Murad had been with the horse, he had been with the horse for entire 1 month. My uncle Khusro became very irritated and shouted, it's no harm. What is the loss of a horse? Haven't we all lost the homeland? What is this crying over a horse? So Uncle Khusro, he got irritated, he got angry and he started shouting, what are you crying over the loss of a horse? We have lost our homeland. Right? We are living here in a foreign land. We have lost our own country, our own land, and you stupid fellow, you are crying over the loss of a horse. Is that such a great loss? That may be all right for you, a city dweller, to say, John Barrow said. But what of my Surrey? What good is a Surrey without a horse? Surrey is the carriage. Right? He says, it's all right for you to say because you are living in a city. You don't know. and he says, I have a surrey, I have a carriage. So what is my carriage going to do without the horse? So I can understand the importance of the horse. I know what is the loss, and you will never understand, he says. So here we will be stopping for today. We will continue with the chapter tomorrow. Until then, keep learning, keep experiencing, and keep going. Thank you.